Hey Ed, I didn't get all of the things done before the countdown shut down. Let me do the countdown one more time. Still didn't get it. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's not entirely my fault. It's the this computer's being a little bit slower than usual. It does that every now and again. There you go. Right, Discord is informed I'm online and we're all good. Right. Oh. So it's been Sunday. Sunday I usually take off. I usually just have I have the day off, a chill. And I try to do as little work as possible and just hang out with Damon. And we've been doing that. We've been watching Star Wars stuff because I hadn't been catching up on all of the Star Wars stuff, So like the first couple episodes of the Bad Batch, the new season of the Bad Batch, and I actually wanted to watch Andor. Somebody finally pushed me over the edge, and they are wrong. This person is wrong. I don't think they watch this. I don't think they watch my YouTube, so I don't think they'll get it. But yeah, basically, I don't give a shit about Andor. He's an entirely predictable character, and I just don't have any interest in him. He's the least interesting character that they could have given a show to, in my opinion. However, the people around him, including the robot, I'm fascinated by. So I just didn't really want to watch the show. I wasn't that interested in it. I just was like, I'm gonna skip this one. I've done this in the past, I've done this in the past with other things like a couple of Marvel shows and stuff. So yeah. No big deal. No big deal. Although I did eventually cave and watch Miss Marvel, in which it's basically an incredibly just it's kind of a wine fest, but I'm not gonna go into that. Oh my god, I kind of don't give a shit. I regret watching that. It's like, I don't really like Star Wars. The problem is I don't really like Star Wars. I don't. It's just that there's a couple of characters in there that I kind of want to keep in. I want to keep up with. I kind of like a couple of characters, so it's kind of annoying that they happen to be connected to Star Wars. So yeah, my friend basically said to me that it's like, oh well, his scenes, there's not many of them, so don't worry about that. They lied to me. They are incredibly hymns, they're hymn centric, which I get because that's the name of the show. So they would be hymn centric, which is no problem. It's kind of like, I knew this. That's why I don't want to watch the show. Everything that I've seen of the other characters that looked interesting, basically, I've seen already. I've seen on like clips on YouTube and stuff. It's not really that interesting. It's annoying, you know. Um, and every scene with him in it was incredibly predictable. I basically predicted all of that weird dam heist thing. Everything that happened in that dam heist, I was like, it's like, well, he's gonna die. He's actually the secret bad guy. Like at the end of it, he's gonna try to pull a fast one. I bet you he's gonna try to pull a fast one. Basically, everything I was basically predicting all of it. It's so annoying. It's just lame. And yeah, everything of the other characters that I wanted to see, I've already seen. There, it's very Blair. It's very yeah. It's kind of a bit meh, you know. And I was waiting for this basically glorious show that everyone wouldn't shut up about. And they said it was so good and stuff like that. And I've got like one episode left to go before I finish it, and it's just very meh. It's just yeah. Also, Andy Serkis plays a big role in it, in like the second half of the series of the season. I can't stand that guy. I can't stand that guy so much. I disliked him in everything that he's been in, and I basically grew to hate him because every time he's in something, everybody's always like, oh, he's the best thing about it, and it's like I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. Yeah. He somehow owns motion capture as well. It's like, what? Really? Just because he was one of the first people to be motion captured for a long period of time, that gives him the right to basically like claim like ownership of motion capture. Anything with motion capture has to involve him. Oh my god. Well, Ed, I haven't given you any specifics or anything. It's just that if you're anything like me and you watch Star Wars, and you're thinking of watching this, then you should have skipped it because you've seen all of the clips already of all the cool stuff you've seen already. You know, so yeah. And I'm a big fan of spaceship porn. If in case you don't know what spaceship porn is, it's whenever ships basically are just whenever they do lots of beauty shots of the ships and they're moving around in space and basically um, like doing cool maneuvers and stuff like that. Whenever it's stuff like that, I'm a big fan of that stuff because I really like how ships work, how especially theoretical ships. I love Star Trek for this exact reason. And you may have already heard me say this. I know, like people, I've said this a couple of times already on live streams, but I don't really give a shit about the storyline in Star Trek so much. Again, if I end up watching it for the spaceship porn, I end up liking a couple of really good characters, and then I like to follow their story, and it's sometimes interesting. But usually, I'm not that fussed. And by the way, Captain Archer is a fucking psychopath. He just is a fucking psychopath. Like when we did a rewatch of of Star Trek Enterprise, and oh my god, like I knew he was kind of a dipshit, but this was going a bit far. Just rewatching it again and noticing it is like I'm gonna pay special attention to all of the weird, kind of crazy mistakes that Captain Archer makes. Oh my god, he's basically a psychopath. Oh my god. Yeah, I have no idea why, but there's basically this. There was a bit of time in like the early noughties, or the mid noughties, or even the late noughties, maybe, where that actor, oh my god, I had his name in my head just now. Oh my god. The guy who plays Jonathan Archer, Captain Archer. Stop yawning! Just because I'm talking now. He was like super famous. He was in everything, like everything that I liked at the time. You know, he was in Boston Legal for like a couple episodes. He was in Chuck for like half of a whole season. He was in. I'm trying to think now. It was really annoying. He was just everywhere for some reason. He was all over the fucking place. After Enterprise, he basically took any guest starring role, and it was just kind of like it was really annoying because he just kept appearing in stuff, and I do not care, you know, because I don't think I'm sorry he can't act so good. He's very stiff sometimes. It's annoying. It's very distracting. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sure he's lovely. Like he seems like a really nice, like fun person to be on with like on the set and stuff. Like they have blooper reels and stuff on Star Trek and everything. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure he's apparently very funny. He's really nice. But Jesus Christ, this isn't a reason. I'm sorry. Oh, I had his name in my head just now, and it went again. Stupid brain. But anyway, yeah, I really like watching sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi, because of the way that the ships work, the way that the ships actually function, and stuff like that. I love me some spaceship porn. It's really good. I mainly like it because I like to figure out how the ships work. And Star Wars is basically space magic. They explain nothing. They explain bullshit. Like I've got the technical manuals. I've got like blueprints. I've got the LCAST displays of the spaceships from Star Trek. There's nothing like that. There's like a book. There's like the MK, the MDK books, whatever they're called. They basically has diagrams and everything, and they don't really tell you much. They kind of tell you where things are, but they don't tell you how things work. You know, it's really annoying. You love sci-fi as well. Well, I think we've established that we've got like I've got my Taraxians and stuff, and it's like yeah, it's the whole thing. But yeah, it's like with Star Trek, you know what the nacelles do. You know what the warp core is, even though it's flawed because it's so teeny. It's very, very tiny in the entire ship. You know, giant ship powered by this like this pole, this rather thick pole that's just in the middle of it. Just that's the thing that's powering everything. Right? Okay. Um, like impulse engines. Well, I guess they also have their own power source because in order to have impulse engines, you need fusion reactors, and the Enterprise has like 7 for each impulse reactor. The Enterprise D has like 7 for each impulse reactor, which is kind of okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because you do have to power a 42 deck ship. So that's understandable. you know, I'm really, really pissed. I'm slightly pissed. And I know I'm going on several different branching tirade rants here, but I'm really pissed that the design of the Enterprise D is annoying. The Galaxy class starships in themselves are fucking irritating because to power all of this shit that happens on this spaceship, you basically have engineering section, which is a corridor. It's made out of a corridor. They basically had a corridor to the warp core. It's a double wide corridor. That's all it is. When they film corridor scenes, they do it in engineering. They just take out the they call it like the pool table or something. They take out that console in the middle of the room, and that's it. It's just a big corridor. Eh. You know, This is one of the reasons why the Intrepid class is the best. You can't argue with me. There is no arguing with me on this. The Intrepid class starship is the best design. Its its engineering section takes up, and it has two of them. It has main engineering and it has secondary engineering. And basically, we only ever see the one with the warp core in it, but it's a multi-deck, huge room, you know, with workspaces galore. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It's great. A neutron star might not be a good idea for a power source of a ship. Where is that? Who uses a neutron star for a power source of their ship? Are we talking about the new Star Trek? The new Star Trek Prodigy? I know they use like a mini star. They say that they use like a small star, and they don't explain it. It's like, oh, we use a mini star and everything. It's like, yeah, that would be great if a warp core didn't produce as much energy as a star. You know, it does that. It already does that. That's the point of a warp core. In fact, is that it produces as much energy as a star without being a star. So yeah, in my head, but we can talk about new Star Trek. Yeah, basically, like, if we have the manuals and we can build a Star Trek spaceship, but we have the manuals and we can't build a Star Wars spaceship. We can't build those. We don't have the necessary information to actually do it. We don't really have the materials to build an actual spaceship from Star Trek yet. Otherwise we could totally do that. That would be awesome. But we don't actually have the materials because a lot of these materials are theoretical in Star Trek. In Star Wars, like I said, it's space magic. They say they have fusion reactors and they say that they have like I think it's compression wave fusion reactors, and they're like weird. Why are you using these? They're massive, you know. I mean, if you look at a star destroyer, the big triangles. You look at the underside of the star destroyer. There's this big bulge underneath that apparently is like that's one of the reactors. That's the main reactor for the entire ship. It takes up the entirety, like it's a sphere that takes up the majority of the space inside the ship. And it's like, why are you doing that? why why are you doing that? Just have lots of little ones. You know, it's you'll do the same job plus you have redundancy. What are you doing? Anyway, sorry. So in your head, it's okay. A neutron star, yeah. Don't use a neutron star as a power source. It's not a good idea. It's mostly the Force, yeah. But the Empire don't believe in the Force, even though they're run by a Force Sith guy. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, I don't really like Star Wars that much. It's annoying to me. So yeah. So you've seen all of the Star Treks, right? Explanation for the most things. Well, no, they do have a good explanation up until the latest last movies. They do have a good explanation of how things work in Star Wars. Like that, you can kind of like theory out, even though they don't use a lot of techno babble and stuff. You can basically theory out using the information that we do have how Star Wars ships work, and then they ruin it usually in the last few movies. It's a thing. So you've seen all of Star Trek. You've seen you know about all of yeah. What is the best starship class in the Federation? What is Starfleet's best ship? What is the best ship in Starfleet in your opinion? But yeah, Star Wars, they use hyperdrive, which is essentially kind of similar things. It's sort of the same thing. Like they basically punch a hole in regular space into subspace, and then kind of like travel in subspace, which is a lot faster. You know, that's what hyperdrive is. In That's what it does. Which is it's a lot cooler and it does things a lot faster. But Star Trek, they basically bend space by creating a subspace bubble around the ship and then basically moving subspace. Because if you to actually move regular space time would be hard. It would take a lot more energy than a warp core. And even making subspace move is a little bit tricky because you'd still need something more powerful than a a antimatter reactor, you know. So yeah, so you've seen them. Did you hear my question? I like that. I asked my question and then it says that nobody's watching now. Awesome. My voice is going. I don't know why. I haven't done that much talking today. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, that's a tough choice. Okay. Well, what is the best? Just it's a very, very simple question. What is the best? I've already given you the answer basically, but but I can defend my choice slash the best ship. You know, the best class of ship um ever. So yeah. Because I feel like the one that we see of this ship that I like, the best ship, is incredibly neutered. Like it's been incredibly neutered. Like we don't ever get to see all the cool stuff they can do because basically it's broken and they can't fix it, even though they have like lots and lots of shells and they built an entirely new spaceship, you know, in it. It's like we can't fix all of this cool stuff that our ship can do. Stupid. You agree with me about what my favorite ship is? Did you guess what my favorite ship is? Or did you just remember because I said it already? Come on. I did have a friend who basically they really liked the Miranda class um, and the Akira class. But it was like, ugh, both of these just don't hold a candle to my ship, you know. I just remembered. Okay, well, type it, dude. I wish it would be. I don't think it's going to be something off the wall, but yeah. I I wish it would be like something completely off the wall. Like it's like, oh, I like the Ajax class, and it's like, what the fuck? So get out of here. Get out of here with your Ajax class bullshit. You know. Can't think of the name of the ship at the moment. You can't think of the name. What is it? What is it in? What is it in? Like what series is it? Is it in? What design is it? I do know somebody who really likes the Excelsior class, and I'm okay with that because it is cool. It's cool, especially for the time period. It's a really good ship, you know, for that era. Next generation, okay. The Nebula class, you know, the squished version of the Galaxy class. It's kind of like their version of a Miranda class, but with Galaxy class parts. So that's the only one that I can think of. Or are you going to say the Oberth class? Because I love that ship. I love the Oberth. I love the Oberth class. I love that one so much. Everyone's always like saying it's like, oh, it gets blown up. So yeah, the Nebula class. Okay. Did I have it? I had him. I had in my office at some point a Nebula class, but I don't. I think I gave it back a while ago because I made a little video on it. Um, I can see why you like the Nebula class. However, I only like. I only like the new version of it. You know, I only like the version of it that you see on like Star Trek Legacy, on like this video game. Um, called Star Trek Legacy, and that's only because they use the actual saucer section from a Galaxy class, because the Galaxy class saucer section actually has impulse engines on the back of it. They're the blinkers. The blinkers on the back of their engines, right? Because it doesn't have an actual impulse engine otherwise. Like if you look at the models that they use in Star Trek, they don't have impulse engines on the back of the Galaxy class for some reason, and yet they kept the shuttle bay, which would just like it's pointing straight out onto the pylon. So it's just like, it's really hard to get things around the pylon. Yeah. But no, I'm okay with the Nebula class. It's just that I feel like all of the windows are slightly close together on the sections that kind of like are meeting up, you know? So you can kind of see somebody if you had your like if you had your quarters on the engineering deck, then basically you could look up outside of your quarters and you could see somebody's quarters on the saucer section, you know. Some of the windows are actually kind of like really like looking up at ones that are looking out like that way. So you've basically got like, you could very easily. Some of them are like this close. It's ridiculous. It's really funny. But yeah, Nebula class. I'm okay with it. I can see why that's a good. That is a decent ship. You know, it's a very utilitarian ship. I like it. He's Dead Jim is like the thing that they basically said that once, at least once, in every single original series episode. It's crazy. He's Dead Jim. I can't get that out of my head at the moment. I understand where you're coming from. Okay, about the ship, but yeah, but no, my baby, my favorite, and we have in almost every single. We have it in the bedroom. We have it in the hallway. We have one in the kitchen. But my baby, my favorite, is of course the Intrepid class. This is a Borgified version. It's got Borg enhancements. But yeah, we've got like a lot of these models. Like there's one in the kitchen that's just a regular this size model. We've got like a very bigger version of it hanging up in our hallway. Well, it's in the stairwell. That's our hallway. We don't really have a hallway because tiny house. But yeah, she is the Intrepid class, and she is the bestiest. Like this thing's incredible. I mean, it's got tons of redundancies, including a spare warp core that they forget about in the show. But what are you gonna do? It's even got like it's got another shuttle. Like in the show, it's got a ship on the underside. There's an indentation. I don't know if you can see it. There's an indentation just here of like it's kind of it's got these like EPS kind of like shielding around it, but there's like these two black lines, and it's in between those two black lines. There's another ship. And that thing comes out and it flies around and everything. It's kind of like the captain's yacht or whatever, but this is called the Aero Shuttle, and it's like super cool and everything. But in the show, they build an entirely another ship because their one was busted for some reason. Hey, Roscoe. So yeah, so they knew to it a lot. It's got so many redundancies. It's got a whole nother deflector dish and everything. It's amazing. It's just an amazing chip. Ways found that the Enterprise has an interesting design. Oh, always found. Which one? Which Enterprise? There's like so many. Hey Roscoe, I wanted you to basically try to plan out how you do drawing. You know, the whole point of me doing of like me asking you to do 5 heads is that basically I wanted you to do them so that you would improve each time. You know, you develop a methodology. And I did already lay out that I would like you to try to plan out where everything's going first, like on a separate layer or a faded layer or something, and then put where like all these features are supposed to go on the face and stuff, like properly and everything. And then keep doing that, because then it will train you to basically, like, you know where you want to put features and the size and shapes of like noses and stuff, anyway. um the first Enterprise, are you talking about like the NX, the NX class? Because it's just a saucer section with a beat, like a, what is the name of that plane? It was like a plane that basically had that kind of chassis on the back of it. It was kind of like stupid. I don't know. It's just a saucer. It's just a flying saucer, basically. I didn't like that. I thought it was good for the time period and everything. I'm okay with it being like the first ship, I'm not so hot with the Enterprise being the first ship, Like, I think they should have called it something else, like Star Trek Daedalus or something. Because technically that was the first ship of that type of explorer slash, the cruiser explorer, like, kind of class ship. It was the, canonically, officially, it was the Daedalus, um, which you can see models of. It's basically it's the ball one. It's the model that you see all the time with the ball and the tubular kind of like thing coming off of the end, and then the engineering section with the tuna cells and stuff. That's the Daedalus. I would have been okay with that, but they didn't do that for some reason because Enterprise is more recognizable. So yeah. So you don't want sketching, you want to see my planning. Well, you can do that in sketching. When you're sketching something, you can also plan how you're going to do that. You know, it's it's not super hard. um, I just like how it looks. Not saying it was the best ship. I know you're not saying it's the best ship. I'm just saying that I didn't like. I'm saying that I'm pointing out its flaws. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever. I said that for the time, I like if it was like one of the first kind of like ships that they tried doing the saucer motif, Like that. That's how I would foresee them trying to do the saucer motif the first time, and I'm okay with that. You know. However, the first kind of cruiser design that they canonically went with before the show Enterprise came out used to be the Deadless, and it was really cool. It was that big ball that there's a model of it somewhere. Basically, a sphere attached to a tube that attached to a like a Coke can. Um, that was the engineering section, and then it had the two nacelles coming off the end and stuff and all that stuff. That was the Deadless, and that was kind of like one of the first ships that was the Deadless class. It was the first of its kind, you know. But for the show, they went with the saucer. So yeah. I don't know how to really show planning. Well, you don't have to show it. I just want to know that it's been done. I want to be able to see it. What you can do is you can basically like increase the transparency. You can basically do in one layer, um, like drawing like the general shape of a face and where the lines where you put the eyes and the nose and all that stuff in one layer, and then up its transparency so it's kind of a faded image, and then in another layer you can go around like an eye or something to actually like put them in the right place and do the right sizes of like ears and noses and all that stuff. Noses. um so yeah, I mean that's how most people will sketch, um will draw faces. So yeah, because right now it looks completely freehand and like you didn't hear anything I said when I was talking about faces and drawing and proportion and all that stuff. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. I'm not saying that that's like a good or bad thing. Just saying that's the thing. So yeah. I will be starting the backstory for the first name on my list soon. Oh, you're talking to him. I should pre-read these before I read them out loud. Get up, yawning. Bye bye. So yeah, I think I asked for like, you know, like two of them. You can have like a free sketch. I don't mind what you do for like two of them, but on one of them I'd like a realistic version, and I'd like one of them to be in your style, and I'd like to see like all of the planning that goes into one of them as well. And I don't mind what order you do them in. So yeah, I think that's what I said. I've got it written down somewhere. I have an idea of how I want his backstory to go. Neat. Send me a time lapse. Or you could just do the thing with the transparent. It doesn't matter. I'm supposed to be doing art, but yeah. I'm also surprised that somebody you haven't noticed something yet, or somebody hasn't noticed something. If Jeffrey was here, he would have noticed. Yeah. I've had a headache all day, so I haven't made any progress with my art. So that's fun. Um, and I've got a. It's kind of going away. It's just very slow. Feels like it's going away very slowly. So yeah. I'm gonna kill like someone, whoever invented yawning. So yeah, the thing that you guys haven't noticed, and I guess it's because I'm making it especially hard, because I'm not turning my head so much. Although I do have a transparent, it is kind of transparent, my hat. I can see through it. So yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, that's what the title of the stream means. I'm sick in a different way. I've got a headache. Like I'm just getting over my coldy, fluey thing. But yeah, Ed Merlin. I thought we were going for Mirrodin, like the proper canonical name. Looks like he came from a rich heritage, a bit to me at least. I thought we were going with the fact that he was straight up like Mirrodin. Although you could invent his backstory, what he tells people, so he doesn't freak them out by being like 1,000. Yeah, Five's owner. I thought we were going for Edward Mirrodin. Because Merlin is 2 on the nose. It's 2 Merlin. So yeah. Like I said, Merlin is the Anglicization of his name, of his like original like one. So yeah. Edward Mirrodin. Yeah. Yeah, if we're gonna go for Five's owner, then I get veto privileges with that because it is kind of my character. So yeah. So I'm gonna veto Merlin for Mirrodin. I'm sorry. But yeah, go on. You're telling Roscoe I should ignore this. I made a myth bell. Made a whoopsie doodles. I think I can do it. I was referring to my haircut, by the way, the thing that you guys are missing. But again, I made it a bit hard because I put a hat on. So yeah. I kept the beard though. I was doing trees. That's what I was doing. I was doing the tweez. Oh, I need to bring up the map again. Ugh. You're not even watching the stream, you're just listening. Okay. Stop. Enough. Boring. Thank you. Right. Boop. I turn the chat on to this screen so I could look at Discord on this screen because I want to look at the map on this screen instead of like opening it up on an entirely like opening up another tab and then moving the map around all the time. Because I'm just doing the trees, so that's I don't need to look at like a huge map for the trees because they are basically just little clouds on this mini map. So yeah. I can't draw glasses. Can't draw blood glasses. What are blood glasses? Sorry, it's just that I've got a story about glasses. It's literally a circle and then another circle and then a little line in the middle and then 2 lines going over to the ears. That's how hard is that? You know. Sorry, not to belittle. I'm trying not to belittle you, but I'm just saying that that's like one of the easiest things to draw. Also, my brain was being really mean. It was like, "Hey, can't you make the?" That's you. That's what you. Well, that's what you sound like. I'm kidding, of course. That's not what you sound like. You wrote down the wrong last name for Edward. Oh no. Your like life ruined, I guess. You should unalive yourself or something. It's like Damon ate all of the Pringles, all of the remaining Pringles in the house. And I said, well, guess I should kill myself because I already wanted Pringles, and now there aren't any Pringles, and that's sad. Suicide's not a joke. I know. I'm aware. Okay, you guys. I know things and stuff. Where the hell did that come from? I've got the la 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 like song stuck in my head. I might have to quickly put on some music. Anyway, yeah, I watched the Andor show and it's okay. It's nothing like super special, like everyone was going out of their way talking about. Like I don't give a shit. I'm trying desperately to, because like I said, I really do like some of the characters, but I don't like the main character. So yeah. Do, 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 do. Go away from my brain now. Oh, there's Tweed up here. Oh, the night Tweed. I hope there's a river or something that's running through there. That would be pleasant if that was a river. So, what is the general overview of one of the backstories to one of the characters? I'm curious. Go on, wow me. I think you might have saved me from a not too interesting show. What? For the Andor thing? Yeah, just look up all the best bits on YouTube. Like look up the coolest moments in Andor, and basically you can see them on YouTube. Even out of context, they're kind of like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, you know. So yeah, he doesn't have anything yet. No, I know he might not have anything but the names, but I just want to hear what the general backstory is. You know, just like I'm not telling him to basically give me a line by line description of what he's thinking of doing. I just want a general outline. I'm curious. He doesn't have to. I'm not forcing him. Well, what do you think of me? Am I some kind of monster? Like, show me stuff now. Show me content now. Jesus. You simply must. I want that song out of my head. I'm just gonna have to play some music. I'm gonna have to play which one? Any of them. Give just like whatever one that you want. I didn't ask for specifics. Oh, put on that nice Taraxian song. Because that was been stuck in my head and it's nice. Oh, but the volume's on super low. New worlds await. That's an advert. I'm gonna get a drink. That sounds correcty. That sounds good. Oh, that was good, but no, I don't want Nancy. I don't want Nancy Mulligan stuck in my head. That'll drive me crazy.
Invest today with Hargreaves Lansdowne and switch your money on.
But thinking of him secretly saving people with his skills, but not sure it'll fit. Wait, what? Thinking of him secretly saving people with his skills, but not sure if it'll fit. Why? He likes to help people. It's fucking Merlin. Although you could argue that Merlin didn't really save everybody. He was very much about saving the country. I dream that I meet somebody like you. And I dream that I lose somebody like you. No, I don't fall in love. No, I don't fall in love with you. Edward is going to be a duke with the less screen time anyway in my story. What a wicked game to play to make me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do to let me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say. You never felt this way. What a wicked thing to do to make me dream of you. And I don't fall in love. What is that? Oh, I'm gonna have to look at the main map. And there's a tree there. There's a big tree there. Okay, now I've just got to put the building somewhere. Duh, I already knew I was going to put a building. That'll do. Right. Oh, because you wanted to be mysterious. Mysterious. He's kind of like the archetype for the dukes. Mainly because that's the only one I've got like it's a phony picture, but it's still a picture of kind of like they all kind of look like that, but slightly puffier. I mean, he looks like that, but slightly puffier. But yeah, so that would make sensey. That's better. I've got that song stuck in my head now instead. Nope. The Nancy Mulligan thing is now playing in my brain.
24 years old when I met the woman I would call.
Well, I think it's. I think if we want to like perfect his backstory, then if he was in the Woolworths Club, well, he is in the Woolworths Club, then I would essentially like he would be kind of like the counselor. You know, he'd be like the friend that he's everybody's friend, and they go to him for advice, or if they're trying to make a decision, they'll go to him, and he'll like try to help them in some way. I think he's kind of like that kind of friend, you know, kind of like me. For some reason, like everybody comes to me with their problems, like especially my family members. They usually come to me with their problems. Even my fucking mum has basically done this, and she still does this, and it's like, ugh. I don't know. Why do you think I would know? There's always like the counselor in the family, and oh yeah, I know why they think that, because I am a fucking counselor. Because I've done that. I've done that as a job. England's such a green country. It's lovely. I do like England. The only problem with it being super green is that you have to draw trees everywhere. So many trees. So that's not. You'd think that would be a problem, but there is. It's a huge problem when you're an artist trying to draw stuff or conceptualize buildings into existence. So that's great, but you got to add more trees. Um, Fine. This is just backstory stuff, so you're fine. Okay. In my story, he's the main one, but whatever you guys want to do. Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, I already said this. Like, I built the world. I don't mind you editing it, but I've got like veto power over it. Over stuff that you put in. If you want to like make additions to the planet, to the to the actual club itself, to the foundations of it, then I'm basically going to have veto power over it. What am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking at this. With the trees, they're everywhere. But yeah, I've got this song stuck in my head, so if I hear it all the way through, it'll go away.
On the summer day when I proposed, I made that wedding in the dentist cold. And I asked her father, but her daddy said no. You can't marry my daughter. She and I went on the run. Don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were one down by the Wexford border. Well, I met her at guys in the Second World War, and she was working on a soldier's ward. Never had I seen such beauty before. The moment that I saw her, Nancy was my yellow rose, and we got married wearing borrowed clothes. We got 8 children now growing old, 5 sons and 3 daughters. She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love.
The problem is that I really don't like. I don't like Sheeran. I don't. I kind of sort of hate him. Especially because of this song. Is because that he basically straight up took an old Irish song and just made it his. You know, it's kind of like it's almost word for word. It's really annoying. You know, this song existed before he wrote it. He wrote it. You know, it's annoying. Before 5 gets sent into the portal, I mean, same, but what kind of club are you doing? This one. The one that has been detailed, outlined, whatever. Feel like I'm going to say it wrong. What? You love how beautiful England is? It's nice. It's variable. That's the thing. It's like, it's incredibly variable. You know, Ireland is different. It's usually the same thing everywhere. You know, except for the human factor. You know, so basically, like, cities, of course, are different from the countryside, but it is literally just cities or the countryside. There is no in between in Ireland. You basically either get lovely beaches, um, cliffs, and then, like, most of the inner island is just hills and valleys, very, very shallow hills and valleys for the most part, and it's all very green, and that's it. Whereas England has, like, you know, they also have forests and stuff occasionally, but not a lot. Um, England, on the other hand, has vast fucking acres of forests, huge lake lands, fucking mountains, just somewhere in the middle of the country. You know, you don't really know it until you're driving up one. It's like, what are we doing? Why are my ears popping? How comes there are clouds here? You know, it's like, what the fuck am I? You know, huge national forests. It's got, like, it's just crazy. It's got all the different vegetation. England is nuts. It's nuts. Maybe I should ease up with it. With what? Insert vegetable quote. Oh, Vegeta quote. Why? You said what now? I mean, like, you actually look like an actual fruit. You look like a fruit. It's like, and not like the kind of homosexual kind. I'm talking like a literal fruit. Eggplant. That's a Vegeta quote. Talking about his son. Vegeta, are you talking about the planet, me, or my son? Yes. I can hear an owl. Fuck off. I'm kidding. The owls are fine. Yeah. Right, so now I've heard enough of that song to get it out of my head. If I basically play something else, what can I replace it with? Do you guys have any suggestions? Oh, I like this one. And it does stick in my head, and it's nice that it sticks in my head. The Antique is what the shop is called, I think. The Antique? What shop? No, the Wiseman, actually. Yeah, me too. But why would we just write the same thing, same setting, same time period? I don't mind what you guys do, like I said. Like, the things that I've drawn are the Wars Club within its 50-year time period that it existed. So, yeah. Say something wrong? Why would you say something wrong? Life is fun. I'll play that afterwards, okay? I think that the antique shop should be called the Wise Man. Seems fitting for. Oh, so he's got an antique shop. That is probably canon now, right? So I get when she does her violin in the middle of this song, it hits me. It hits me in a really good way, you know. It's really nice. Plus, this is the woman from Evanescence. I can never remember her name. Should be called the Wise Man's. The Wise Man. Okay. The backstory is too intense. No, go for it. Go for whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Oh, here it comes. Right, now I've got to find Life is Fun. Ugh. Stupid song. Where would that be? So I really like that bit in particular. It's just that there's a certain trick to basically like get your when you play certain songs, and like Enya has mastered this. You know, think people like Enya have mastered this, and like it's kind of like it's like a build up of certain brain chemicals that happens that kind of like makes you feel really good, you know. Um, but they kind of hit you in a wave sometimes, and if you'll find out that if you keep repeating like these music clips on a loop, the effect gets less and less because your brain gets used to it. But it's not just that; it's like a surge of like I don't know what it is, but essentially you just get this really uplifting feeling. And you know, a lot of religious people have usually mastered it as well in the past, and they used it to basically kind of like make people feel like they've been touched by the Holy Spirit and all that stuff. And it's bullshit. It's just something that humans are very you know, we're very hardwired to hear good vocal sounds, and a lot of them in a row. So large choirs, for example, can often trigger this feeling, and stuff like that. And like I said, churches have like used this to basically kind of like do kind of trigger this response and feeling. So you kind of get the uplifting spirit feeling. But yeah, it's actually called. It's got an effective name or something. But yeah, some people have like used this a lot, and it can be different in some people, but for the most part, it's the same. For the most part, it's the same in most humans. But that's stuff like that really does it for me. You know, the violin, the really good vocals, just from one person sometimes. The you know, combine that with a good dubstep kind of like track, just backtrack. But your backing is like yep, like all of that perfect. You nailed it for me. It really hits me in my brain hard, and it's good in a good way, not like it gives me a headache. Oh, I got a good person. I'm looking for. I know I could just search for it, but I know it's on my playlist. It won't let me go down anymore. Why? Okay, it's broken. I'm gonna have to search for it. Great. Why life is fun? Why is this the one that you like?
Hello to Go.Compare, the new way to compare prices on insurance, credit
Adverts.
cards, and more. One click, and you're there.
I'm just gonna write my own stuff. Ed, you can write whatever backstory you want. Edward Meerden.
Such a beautiful day. Sun shining in a beautiful way.
I'm gonna turn it down a bit.
Life is ultimately meaningless. But I'll get out of the house. Get on the road, top down, hands out. My favorite song and nod to the rhythm. Is being destroyed by your carbon emissions. But I'll head to class. Driving fast on every test I pass. And the grades are screaming in my face. Hey! 98% of what you learn is a waste. I get to hang out with all my friends. My friends are the friendly friends. Can't think of a better way to spend my time. Your brain is full and all your friends will die. Never mind, I'm alive in the greatest nation. So proud of the exploitation of the natives. Disgraceful birth means freedom for all. After the slaves and bald eagles aren't bold. I can live in the moment, milk every second. At any time you could get clinical depression. But I'll just be happy no matter what's in store. Genetically no cure. At least
I'd like some of it. I can't be right or wrong. Okay. That's a contradiction. Oh no, that's a somethingism. I do know that's a somethingism, but I can't think of what ism that is.
I'm proud to be a functioning member of society. Finally, I can be the citizen I dream to be. Part of the community, contribute with my tax. What can possibly stop me? The shrinking middle class. At least I got a nice stable job. So let's outsource to China or replaced by a robot. Oh god, then I could relax a bit. You'll be empty with nothing to distract from it. But man, I'm a passionate graduate. I can be different and I have career paths to pick from. I could be a rapper or an animator if I'm lucky. Neither of those will make you happy. I'm able to choose what I pursue. You're a slave to people born richer than you. Then screw it! I'll keep going in, then I'll party on the weekend and sing. Thanks to auto-tune. It was downhill. We gotta make the most of it, make the most of it.
Until you die. Because you'll die.
Nature is a miracle. Natural disasters. It's good to be alive. You could wake up with cancer. But I'm healthy. Healthy people
I love that answer. You can wake up with cancer, but I'm healthy. Healthy people still get cancer. I do like the lyrics to this one. I like the lyrics to most of his songs. It's good. You know, all four of them. Oh, by the way, the sun isn't going to explode. At least not in the sense that you're thinking of. I mean, it will be kind of an explosion, but it will be like an explosion that lasts for like hundreds of years, possibly thousands, maybe even millions. We don't know. So yeah, it's not really an explosion. Plus, the sun is exploding. The sun is a continuous fusion reaction, which is an explosion held together by gravity, immense gravity. He needs to do science more.
Statistically, that relationship is going to fail. I have a wonderful family. It's like no other. You're not special, and one day you'll bury your mother.
Roscoe, you can do whatever you want.
There's amazing potential in every human on Earth. There's no escape in the heat death of the universe. I don't have to live life based on negative parts. No matter how bad they are, they're just thoughts. Yeah, that's fair. Wait, really? Yeah, that seems reasonable. Wait, but you were just telling me to... Whatever, man. I don't live your life how you want. I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm just saying. Oh.
Well, in that case... And then we wanted a giant. Right? Do I have that saved? The problem is only like certain parts of that song. Burn it all down. Oh, I really like the new. I really like the new intro to Strange New Worlds. I like that one too. Won't be alive. I like that one too. That's cool. What the fuck is it? I'm looking. I'm still looking. Was it after after I found a bunch of Snow Patrol songs that I already forgot about? Make This Go On Forever is my favorite. Well, it's because it has a whole Traxian thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah, I can't find it. It's not on here anymore. Did he take it off of YouTube? Scanning. Oh, okay. I skimmed past it. I can't just work on mine. The Wise Man of the Wars Club. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I know I'm not part of this story thing, but is there beef between you or something? Nope. And you can be part of it. We're just building a world. You can do what you want in it. It's for everyone. It's like Minecraft. It's for everyone. Minecraft. It's for everyone. It's this part. I think this part goes on a bit too much, a bit too long. The little toot every now and again is kind of amusing to me, though. Well, yeah, I would like to invite you to do anything you want in the Wars Club, Better Fox. I'm not a big fan of the repetition as well. What trees have I drawn? I've done them all. I'm putting the actual club in the footprint of where the building is supposed to be. I'm actually like inventing a stables area as well.
I'm a luxurious Parisian hotel. Join me for a weekend of life's finer things. Views like no other, exquisite decor, and croissant you'll dream about for years. Come see me, you're perfect somewhere.
Awesome. Anyway, that was fun. Yeah, I'll show you in a second. Did you enjoy the fun music hour? I know it wasn't really an hour. Well, it might have been. I don't know. Did you have an idea when the palace was built? No. It's very unhelpful. No. I basically it's around like when was the original Buckingham Palace? It was just before like that palace, before like Buckingham Palace. You know. I can't remember. We did look it up, but I can't remember when exactly it was. It was like the construction was beginning for that palace. But yeah, footprint done. Right. Let's see if I can get you to see this without knocking everything over. Already failed one thing. Knocked over one thing. Oh, come on. Why are all my bookmarks falling out of my books? Shit. I close that first. Oh, it's scraping on the screen. Oh, that's good. That's not going to damage anything. Stupid real life bullshit. So much bullshit. But yeah, footprint done on the mappy map. That's what it is. It's in the middle of that field. It's not focusing. It's so annoying when it doesn't do that. Ugh. There it is. Don't know if you can see that. It's really having a hard time for some reason. But you'll see it when I put it in scanning. Because like I said, I'm going to do a quick little version of it here. Just a sort of 3D isometric version of it real quick just there. Got dinner. Okay, toodles. He's got dinner foods. Well, I was going to go anyway. I'm sorry that I didn't do anything today. I kind of was like I said, I've been feeling a bit meh. Plus, headachy and bullshit. There's always something, There's always something. I listen to it all the time. YouTube music. Okay. Didn't say I was leaving. Well, that's what got dinner said. That's what you mean by saying got dinner. I did something. It doesn't feel like a lot. But yeah, annoyingly, I need to. Oh yeah, I can do that on computer. So annoyingly, I need to look at the palace whilst I'm drawing the 3D render and the map. I need the map as well. So I need that open. So if I just do a quick outline of it, that's not going to work, is it? I just want to see the roof. That song always helps you feel better. What, Giant? Really? I missed your reply for the wasp. The building itself. Well, the building itself isn't like I don't think it was originally the Walrus Palace. I think it was originally something else. I think it was just a rich person's palace. Might even be the originator of the Walrus Club. Who knows? But like they've kind of like relinquished their ownership of it the second that they become not king. So we don't know who it belongs to originally. But yeah, the building itself belonged to whoever was the first of the kings, which was probably a lot smaller than like the current kings and stuff like that, or in the past current king. You know what I mean? I'll take that as a creation starting point. The problem is, again, that Buckingham Palace was built a long time ago. The front section of Buckingham Palace was built a long time before. Yeah, I think it was anyway. Computer, when was Buckingham Palace made? Do I have Buckingham Palace? $1705. Yeah, so it was it was after then, because we're talking like 18 something. Because the Warriors Club has existed like for 50 years. Like I would go for, you could stretch it to like 60 years, but basically the Edwardian era is slap bang in the middle of like when it was. So those 10 years or so of of Edwardian society are like right in the middle of that. So you've got like, so that's 10 years. So you've got 20 years on either side of then. So what's, I'm just trying to think, when was that again? For fuck's sake. Oh my god. You got a lot of time to basically play around with. 50 years is like a human lifetime. A short one, but it's a human lifetime. I mean, you drew trees. Yeah, I did show you the trees I drew. It's okay, dude. We get it. I'm gonna go after I just quickly do like the quick. I'm gonna put down like a. I'm gonna copy this on here real quick, so that we basically I know what I'm drawing later, so that won't take that long. That was that take what as a creation starting point. What? The Walrus Palace. The club is first in my timeline. So I was thinking about when the palace was made. 1705. It wasn't originally the house for the royals. It basically came into being as a palace for the royals for King George the Third. He bought the place for the Queen. And John Nash was the architect of the. Well, he did the refurbishment of the outside. So yeah, the building and the club building all come from that, but that wasn't 1820s. Well, that's a nice long period of time. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know when Five was shoved into a portal. Okay, well he jumped. No, he was shoved. He was shoved. It's a whole thing. Okay, is that before or after Five gets shoved into? Like I said, I'm pretty sure that was Edwardian society. It was Edwardian times that he was booted. In the 20s? With the Art Deco-ness of everything, really? I think that would be a bit late, to be honest. I'm going to look it up again. When was Okay, the Edwardian era, 1901 to 1910. So you could basically say that it was like 1909 or something, I think. I'm not gone yet. Still got to do the thing. Do the thing. Ed gonna be alive for 1 year. What did I do? You wrote the story of the stabbing in the. Okay, but it was clearly still the Edwardian era. Just in the 20s, there was a weirdly different. That's when the decade started to happen. Because you basically every single decade after the 20s basically had its own feeling, its own kind of like flavor. That's when the decades started to become their own thing. They've only just stopped doing that. There's like the noughties and everything. Ever since the noughties happened onwards, like the decades have kind of like there hasn't been like a standout thing, but the decades have kind of been. Yeah. Well, I mean, it lasted for a good like almost 100 years, I guess. So that's something. Because the 20s, basically, you started to get like Art Nouveau and like Art Deco stuff, and like the architecture definitely changed, and basically you had like a bunch of um, like suits became cleaner. The fashion changed as well for both men and women, whereas for most of the Victorian period, and then it started to become slightly smarter in the Edwardian period, but those were like, I mean, that was only 10 years, but still, that was it lasted until the 20s. Then the fashion changed again, not really that gradually, and then in the 30s the fashion changed again, and everything was slightly more less formal. Everything was slightly more um, like militaristic and more like a lot more mass production started happening. Like the 30s was like the era of mass production and wartime stuff. The 40s especially was the time of like the wartime stuff where everything became fairly kind of like you know like the differences between the classes became less and less, so you had a lot of a lot less formality again, and women's fashion changed again, and architecture changed again. And then the 50s happened with like the rocket age and the atomic stuff, and then you basically had um, the 60s, where basically things became slightly more modernized, fashion changed radically. And then you had like the weird 70s stuff where everything was kind of plasticky, but kind of like cool and disco-y. Then you had the 80s. Um, you know, famous Doctor Who quote: "Somebody put a ding in it." Somebody hit the 80s and put a ding in the 80s. And then you have the 90s with all the cool, awesome stuff happening. And then the noughties, and then basically like the modern technological era, and it's a whole thing. Like, yeah, you can't just have an Edwardian guy with all of the Edwardian styles and all that stuff basically appear in the 20s. It would be out of place. It wouldn't be super out of place. Do want to point that out, but it would still be kind of like a bit weird. You know, it would be very off. You know, It's a thing. It's gonna be live for 1 year. Yeah, I'm just saying that's probably when it happened. It probably happened in 1909. So yeah, I'm actually confused about what. Yeah, when I'm not feeling good, giant. Yeah, I already read that. Gonna push the story from 1909 to 1901 then. Okay. Is he a big? I thought you said he was like a background character anyway. Would it matter if he just wasn't there? You know, suddenly he wasn't there. I mean, is it a big deal, really? Um, you only knew about his existence for like a couple of weeks. I feel like it shouldn't be that much of a big of a deal. You know, oh no, what did I do? I'm showing off way too much of the roof. Did you see the outside of the building, by the way, that I drew? Did you like all of the walrus motifs that are on the outside of the cladding? You know, the masonry and stuff. There's like walrus heads. There's like the coat of arms being held up by two walruses on either side of them. You know, there's little things like that just dotted around. It's not just those two examples, honest. There are other things that I drew. I was very proud of myself for coming up with that shit. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm really, really thirsty. I should have poured myself a drink ages ago, but yeah. Is there anything anybody wanted to ask me or talk to me about before I leave? Maybe Edward Meerden should be head counsel or something. They don't really have that kind of structure. They do have a historian. Like there is a member that's also a historian as well. But yeah, I think they all have like just general buddy roles, just like they would have in a regular club, I guess. You know. You know, there's like the club historian, and there's like the club. I don't there is precedent for like the structural stuff for like a private gentleman's club thing, like that did happen. You know, like the games master or whatever, the public speaker, the announcer, and all that stuff. That's usually a butler thing, actually. You know, the master of ceremonies is like a butler thing, I guess. It's like whole uniform and stuff associated with it. Yeah, what do I miss? The chat is going up. And then World War II happened in the 40s. Okay, right. Maybe Edward Merden should be the head counsel or something. I guess, again, he could be. He could be. I'm okay with that. I want him to be a reoccurring character. Not much, but he will be. Okay. I plan for each duke to try and take the king's throne evenly. Okay. I might have to veto something. It's just that, like, the dukedom and even the king's throne wasn't ever taken super seriously. I mean, yes, some of them did take it very seriously. It was kind of almost a prize more than it was a position that somebody wanted to be in. You know, it's like, because when you're the king, you get to own the building, you get to make modifications to the building. You know, that room. There's a couple of rooms that you get to like make your own. So there's that. You know, you get like certain privileges and stuff like that. But essentially, it's more of a prize than it is a position. You know. And there have been many kings. Many of the kings get there accidentally. You know. Basically, there's the whole thing of like the dukedom is something that you do have to qualify for. You have to put yourself in for, but somebody else could, or like a group of them, or a group of members could kind of like put your name into the dukedom, I guess. And it's like, yeah, it's not, like I said, it's more of a kind of thing. It's like, at least one time in the club's history, I'd like to think that there was a king that basically got to being king completely accidentally. He just happens to be the strongest and the biggest, you know, and he basically fell into the king role when it came to elections. Um, so yeah. It's just a thing. So what he did was he vetoed a bunch of people's like requests to be dukes. If there's only allowed to be a certain number of them, then basically he vetoed a bunch of people's like requests to be dukes, and just like nominated a bunch of his friends so that he could hang out with them all the time, as opposed to the kingdom. You know, the kingdom, the club being run by, it was, you know, it's cronyism basically. It was like cronyism, nepotism bullshit happening. So yeah, I mean, that's happened at least once. It wasn't like it's not like a thing. Like I said, it's not like a super prize. Sure, there have definitely been people that have gone, that have like intentionally tried to be the king. Sure, there have been like few members that done that, but essentially it's a lot more laid back than that. The competitive side doesn't really come out in them so much, you know. It's not really that big of a deal. Like one guy just couldn't control his eating and became king one time. At least that's happened at least a couple of times actually. I'm sure. You know, it's kind of a thing. We can work out a compromise or something. I'm just saying that's yeah. Your version is too kind for that. You could ask Ed. What? Can a duke also have a job? Actually, yeah. Oh my god! So, like, they're all unemployed? Like, all the members are unemployed? Can they have a job? Is that what you were asking? These are just guys. These are the guys that exist that happen to be part of this club. You know, most of them, if not all of them, are still employed. There were a few people who are retired that basically hang around the club. There's like an old Walrus club within the club, even. But yeah, it's just a thing. Like they're just it's a club. It's not a thing. Like the floor plan for the king's private chambers that I drew up, that floor plan is for, I made a mini backstory for that guy. He's a judge. Like he's an actual judge, and he does his work from the club. And that room itself, I did all this in my head in like 3 minutes. Like that room itself was only slightly modified because the previous king was a psychiatrist. So he had like a waiting room and everything, and he kept the waiting room and everything. So yeah, so you could even argue that was Merlin's, that was Mirrodin's office. You can even argue that was Mirrodin's office before that particular guy like became king. You could even argue that. So yeah, they have jobs. So yeah, they do have jobs, and they can even use the club as like a place of of um of practice, if they wanted to. It's theirs to do what they please with. So yeah, it's a thing. Like one of them was an opera singer, because it's a fat guy. So yeah, it makes sense. That's one of the later kings, I imagine, was like an opera singer or something. Anyway, he keeps his duke status at first, at least what? He keeps his duke status a secret. Why would you do that? It's a fun contest. It's a fun contest. I'm treating like fat drinking buddies doing bets. Yeah, well they do that. You can do that and do bets. I just really want to draw the king's quarters more than once. Okay, you can do that. It does feel like that drinking buddies doing bets, doesn't it? Well, it is. They have 2 pubs and several bars set up around the place. Almost every single place has its own little bar. I drew that. I know that exists because I did it. The Butler station definitely has some kind of alcohol in it as well. To me, it's kind of a big deal. I'm working on his backstory. Again, you can do whatever you want. Might have to take a gander. I'm just going to make some tea. Okay, head historian then. Again, lots of people can have different jobs. There could be a counselor, there could be a historian, there could be like a games master or something. You know, they regularly have competitions. There is a stage and a boxing ring in the gaming pub. So, and it's an early boxing ring, by the way. That's why it's got wooden walls as opposed to rope walls. It's got wooden ones around it. So yeah, I kind of wanted to get that. You know how there was that boxing ring in the middle, the barefoot fist boxing ring in like the first Sherlock Holmes movie? Was that the first one? I think that was the first one. I kind of wanted to get like that feeling, you know. But I made it square, whereas I think the one in the first Sherlock Holmes film is round. I could be wrong. But yeah, this one actually has corners. Edward's going to be working for King Edward. That would be cool. Well, that would make sense actually, because he's Mirrodin, so he would work for the king. So, yeah. Then what happened to Edward's antique shop? Again, it's your problem. He can own an antique shop and also be like an advisor for the king, or just a friend of the king that has a that the king comes to for counseling or something, or just his best friend in the club. We don't know. There could be lots of dynamics that you can play with there, you know. But yeah, he could be like, yeah. I'm not going to go into that. Whoever wins at the end of the year gets the quarters. What do you mean, like? Well, that's kind of the prize anyway. That just is the prize anyway. So, yeah, that's the prize. Win, of course, we get to change the quarters. I thought that Roscoe meant like actually take the throne from someone, not winning it. Sorry. Here's, you know what, I'm gonna just quickly try to outline just like some good ground walls here. Just because it takes a long time to completely redesign a room from scratch, because they have to gut it and then replace it. Usually they try to work with what's there, but essentially like you get the opportunity to redesign that room when you become king if you want to. We're going to make the terms like once every 2 years there'll be a chance to basically challenge the king. You can technically challenge the king whenever, but once every 2 years, basically, there's the great weighing ceremony, where basically in the throne room there is that big set of scales, and like the king and then is weighed against all of the different dukes, and basically like if you happen to tip the scales, then you get a chance to basically, do like a mini wrestling contest or like a belly bumping contest. Something very warsy. Could be an eating contest. It could be lots of different contests and stuff. You get the opportunity to basically like beat the king. So yeah, we can make it like every 2 years or every 4 years or something. But I do want a lot of turnaround. Like at one stage, there to be a lot of turnaround at some stage, just so that there's just a bit more variety in the kings, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, this one guy was king for like 40 years. It feels a bit rotten. And for people to get the chance to become the king again, maybe, I don't know. You can just imagine these enormous blimps of men that basically just don't want to be king, so they don't put their names in to be to be dukes and stuff. It's like a thing, or they just won't have the ability to fight properly or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's my backstory now, I guess. What? Oh God, Edward Meerden is a Kingsman. I don't. Those movies aren't canon. Like clearly. Don't I have to change the name of the contest now? What name of the contest? It's not. It doesn't have a name. I've been calling it at the weight contest, the Walrus Tussle. Well, that's just the weight contest is like the opening contest. It basically is like it's one of several parts to being king. You have to be the biggest and the strongest. You can add criteria if you want, but those are the main things because that's the whole reason why it's called the Walrus Club is to be the biggest and strongest walrus is the king walrus. It's the whole thing. Okay, since my story covers 4 years, I will have 2 contests. Again, the dukes can all basically opt out of doing the contest if they want the current king to stay the current king. If they don't want to if they don't want to, if they want to no contest themselves, they can do that. They can opt out. You can have multiple years. It's not like a proper presidency. You don't have to step down after so many years. You can still be king if you wanted to. But yeah. Oh yeah. Also, the king can. Yeah. It's. I'm gonna veto that rule already. One in the middle of the story, one at the end. Okay, it's your story. Edward Meerden owns and works at an antique shop called the Wiseman. That's what you got. Yep. I have 2,000 word plan. So these 2 books, like 2 books of ideas. I don't know how many words go into books. Okay, why do I plan books like TV show seasons? That's good, actually. I think that's a good thing. Why not just have a week celebration for the king ceremony and have it where there's a random pool for the contestants to get ready for the king's challenge? I mean, they could just do that. They could. That's probably just that probably just happens. The king just randomly does that sometimes. Plus, they do have Christmas. I mean, yes, most of them go off and have it with their families and stuff. But for those members that don't have families or basically want to celebrate Christmas there, they can do that in their private rooms or suites or whatever. I might just have to draw that. I might just have to draw that floor. I might just do that. Just draw the floors of how the rooms are laid out over the two private room areas floors, because there is a common area like on each floor besides the lobby, but they can have their families over and stuff, so they could use the common areas. That actually sounds kind of fun and kind of sweet, like the members of the Wars Club that basically that don't really have they want a large Christmas celebration, that they kind of like bring them in to the common areas, their families into the common areas, and they all have like Christmas and open presents, and all the kids have fun, and all the guys basically just like watch their kids having fun, and the women gossiping about their kids having fun. It's all about Christmas and kids and fun. So yeah, you can imagine all of that happening. That's kind of fun. It's very sweet, very wholesome idea. Anyway, yeah, I might have to draw another floor and just do that, but that could be just a side project that I do, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, Banner Fox, they can just do that. Stuff happens. There is weeks long celebrations and ceremonies and all of this stuff that the current king wants to do, or whatever. Or even the butlers. Sometimes the butlers just want to hold a celebration or something. It's fun. Oh, this Stearns is like Black Panther. What? The system is like Black Panther. No, it's not. Also, I fucking hate Black Panther. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I fucking hate Black Panther. A technological and advanced society like Wakanda would not choose its leaders based on Mortal Kombat. They just wouldn't. It's fucking bullshit. Yeah. Fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, just that takes it out for me. That pulls me out of the film, out of the immersion for me. It's just like, what? They do this and then they basically like have kind of a vote of the elites only, which is another problem. And then they get to choose if somebody wants to fight them for it, and it could be a fight to the death if they want to. What? I thought these people were an advanced society. This is supposed to be like the most advanced one, in fact, isn't it? Surely. Ugh, whatever. But yeah, it's dumb. I mean that can happen. Sounds fun. Yes, I agree. The contest was in December in my mind. Yeah, I kind of had that idea as well. But you do have to factor in Christmas, which was a big deal. The Victorians and the Edwardians, basically, they're the ones that basically set up the whole Christmas tradition thing in the first place. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big holiday. It was kind of considered to be a sort of second-rate holiday in the Victorian era, but it became more popular as Queen Victoria aged. It became more and more popular, especially once the Christmas Carol book came out. Apparently, it became like crazy popular then. So yeah, either that or in the start of summer. It could be either. I'm okay with either. You could even say that basically it's a completely, it happens once every 2 years, but that second year it could happen at any time. It could be like okay, 6 months from now we're going to choose the new king or something. I don't know. You could basically just like make it so that it's the birthday of the king, or something like that. You could do it whenever. Those women are not gossiping about those kids. They're not gossiping about those kids. I don't get it. I just meant like talking. They're gossiping about other stuff, but they're also like watching the kids enjoy themselves and stuff. Whatever Edwardian women did for fun besides being suffragettes, I know that wasn't fun. It was a thing. So it could be Christmas. It could be any time. It could be any time you want. I'm not married to the idea of being at a certain point in the year. So you can pick a date. I'm okay with that. He is both an advisor and an antique shop owner. That could happen. They are gossiping about being invited to a place with giant men. Oh my god. They knew what they were getting into. It's called the Wars Club. And families are allowed. You know, they're not allowed into the private areas, but or the lounge. You know, or you're not allowed into the members only areas. But there is a restaurant. There is, you know, which is somewhere that you wouldn't actually take your children to in Victoria, you know, in Edwardian and Victorian society. You wouldn't take your kids to a restaurant like that. That never happened, as far as I know, ever. You know, you wouldn't take your kids anywhere that wasn't child friendly in the first place. You know, but if it's Christmas time, then I can imagine them being like allowed in like they've got their own private rooms where they could do whatever they want, including basically hosting like their family. So yeah, there's room for the wholesome. There's room for good wholesome fun in the gentleman's club. They're just not allowed into the gentleman's club area bits. You know, so like the Turkish baths would be out of bounds, and like um the pool at certain times would be out of bounds, and the lounge is definitely out of bounds. And yeah, you know, it's not a sex club, you guys. It's not a sex club. Yours is Black Panther just without combat. Oh my god. Just don't equate it to that. Like I said, it kind of ruins it for me. It's really annoying. It's really annoying considering that. Um, oh my god, I can't remember his name. It's like Chadwick something. I used to be really attracted to him. It's really annoying. Like he just he was very cute, especially with the accent as well. I've seen him with just a regular English accent. It's kind of weird. You know, even with a regular American accent, it was also kind of weird. But just the slightly South African, um, slightly it was kind of a mix between like African and like a slightly Kenyan accent, you know, um, that they were going for with the accent, and it kind of works. But ever since I saw him in like Civil War, I was like, he's adorable. I want to hug him. Not when he's wearing the vibranium suit, but you know. But yeah, sad. It still bums me out. People just go away like that. So sad. But yeah, and then so I was kind of excited for the Black Panther movie, and I did like some of it, but just there are certain parts of it that just are super cringy, including that whole, like I said, the Mortal Kombat bullshit thing. Oh, this is the most advanced society in the world. We're advanced technologically, and you know, and in some ways culturally, and especially in our government. It's like, oh, what kind of government do you have? It's kind of it's a monarchy. Oh, like, but you mean like a constitutional monarchy? It's like, no, it's just a monarchy. It's dynastic. Like, so you're not advanced, really. It's like, no, we are. It's like, no. Okay. But okay. It's just that I'd be questioning this all the time. It's just it's a huge kind of like it's a huge plot hole for me that can't I can't suspend my disbelief. I I can't do it. It's just my disbelief is always touching me. It's it's like it's never suspended. It's always actually physically contacting me. you know. But at one point it falls off of me. it's just it's it's really hard to keep it up there. That just yeah. I'm sorry. It keeps whacking me on the head every time I think about it, and it's really annoying. Anyway, arm wrestling contests. I'm sure they happen. There could be an arm wrestling contest too. I'm sure they happen. I understand the ground rules. That's good. There's a lot of paperwork, according to the prince. According to the prince and the pauper, I have no idea what that means. Yeah, the death match doesn't make sense in the Black Panther. Why do that if you're advanced? Well, it's just it's the cultural governmental side. It's just that seems a bit wrong. A bit. That seems a bit wrong. Oh my god. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Right. I mean that's it. Right, guys. We good? I'm still weirded out that nobody's mentioned the haircut. I know I've been wearing a hat, but that's still weird. And it's kind of left a mark on my head. but it's still weird. You can see my giant puffy neck. So yeah. I never noticed. I know, right? Where's my hair? It's in the bin, in the garbage. It's so funny because like Damon also cut his hair, so you got like these really short kind of like um this short crappy hair. That's no, you got the short kind of badger hair because basically like he's grey. His hair's black and grey. So you got that. And then you got like one or two silver hairs in this luscious, really, really long, curly-ish hair, big curls hair, just like on this mat thing that we basically fold up and then throw in the bin. Um, and it's just like, and there's like it's a ball of it, like this big. It's like just sitting on top. So yeah. It's very, very funny looking at that in contrast. So I will admit that I have really good hair. I'm really happy with my hair. It's annoying if I want to try to grow it really long, like when I do it for charity and stuff. Um, I basically try to grow it very long, but instead of going long and straight, it basically doesn't do that. It does big curls, and basically, yeah, it's annoying. But my mum, she used to cut my hair um, up until I was like 20. Until I was like 20, 21, 22, 23. And basically, she used to be like, I'm really jealous of your hair. Like, but you have the same hair, because my mum has basically the same hair. It's like, yeah, but it's not as dark and it's not as dark and red anymore like yours. And it's like, then why do you want to cut it off all the time? Because my mum was always like, my mum was one of those parents that was like get a haircut, you know, whenever you think you're looking scruffy, she'd always be like, get a haircut, and then she would cut my hair. And then she complained because I didn't want to cut my hair. She complained that basically it's like that I wasn't appreciative enough of her cutting my hair, and it's like I didn't want it cut in the first place. And she'd be like, "Oh well, that shows you how grateful you are. I mean, I cut your hair for free, and you basically, and this is what you say to me." And it's like, yeah, because I didn't want to cut my hair in the first place. I don't know. Another tangent. Another tangent. I'm never gonna get that drink or go pee. Belly rubs and belly salute. Oh, confirmed tummy is bigger, by the way, because a lot of my shirts basically they won't go over the bottom bit of my tummy ever. No, even if they're big shirts like this one. This one's one of my bigger shirts. It's supposed to fit me. It's a bit baggy on the arms, so I know it's one of my bigger shirts, and it basically is just like it's not doing it. So confirmation tummy is bigger. Told you it was. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go. This has been good. This has taken my mind off of the sad stuff that's happened recently. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I won't be sick. We might even do some filming. I might even do some filming on Tuesday. Like for sure. And yeah, I'll see how tomorrow goes. But stop yawning. I'm not actually that tired. I'm not that tired. It's literally just because I haven't talked much today. So I yawn sometimes when I'm talking a lot. So yeah. Anyway, toodles.